Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Fatheads. This is part of the, sorry, I didn't even share what the box was called. It was called the One Big Hoppy Family Box, so all hoppy beers. We're starting from bottom to top. This is Sunshine Daydream. So this is a session IPA, 4.9%, Citra Mosaic, Chinook Sultana, 4.9% session IPA. Yeah, it seems like pretty popular. I mean, well, I want to say like the peak had to be like a couple years ago where everybody was doing like Cigar City High Low, Bell's Too Lighthearted, Dogfish Head Slightly Mighty was everywhere. So Session IPA definitely had its peak. I mean, it's still around. I mean, those brands are still around. Obviously, Founders All Day is a crusher, and then there's like Hazy All Day now, blah 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 blah. But really cool to see so many brands being produced, and then I'm gonna try this one out. So Session IPA is, in my opinion, pretty good. Not my favorite style, obviously, but pretty good. So pretty good. Whatever. Let's just dig into the beer. Beer comes in a wonderful kind of pretty dark for a session IPA. Has a little bit of color to it, like a medium gold color. Wonderful, fluffy, beautiful white head. Wonderful. Yeah. So just smells like Mosaic days for me. Super white candy grape. What is that? Cotton candy grape. I call cantaloupe on Mosaic too. A little bit of herbal, grassy character. There's just this. It's like it's got a little bit of what Headhunter has because there's Mosaic in that beer too. But this is very specifically Mosaic. So I always have the hardest time. Like it's someone's got to find me that flavor, but it's like a little bit of guava, a little bit of that kind of like Sauv Blanc character, like almost thiol-y, but also a little bit of like gasoline and diesel. Like, if you guys have smelled Mosaic before, you just know exactly what I'm talking about. It's almost, it's got its candied thing going on too. Like they call it pear drops, and it's like, yeah. And then there is that kind of like light, like leafy dankness. I mean, some beers like smell like really like deep down diesely like hemp marijuana thing going on, but this has like it's a other kind of green exotic like guys, I'm having a hard time. You guys post all the descriptions you guys have for Mosaic, but I always have a hard time pinning it down. I've created some of my own descriptors, and I've actually had like listen to them like a gajillion podcasts and try to find some good descriptors for it, but very Mosaic heavy, like explodes out of the glass, and that's mostly what I smell. A little bit of like gasoline-y, dank farty thing. I don't know, man. Like, if like Jello could fart and was like covered in green leaves, I don't know, man. Like, it's got that's, you know what? Honestly, that might be it. Jello. It smells like Jello. All right, that's my new tasting note for Mosaic. Cheers. Let's see. Yeah, see, it does the thing that session IPAs do, which is fine. I mean, the beer's like 2.5 points below Headhunter. So big aromatics, like it smells like a proper IPA. Like full blind smelling it, you can't tell if it was like a session IPA, a pale ale, an IPA, double IPA. Like, right, it just smells proper. It smells heavy Mosaic. What can you smell about it? Dominated by hops, and then on the nose, I didn't really talk much about malt. So like, light, ready character. Nothing too descriptive. Doesn't really send you an ABV. On palate, now you can sort of tell, right? So what are the clear signifiers that like sort of like, this is just a very like good example of like what session IP sort of tastes like. It has a little bit of breadiness, a little bit cracker to the palate, nothing too sweet, and then it really is very devoid of bitterness. And then it also just like past mid palate, just like washes away quite quickly. Like generally with just regular IPAs, you can have a little bit of length of malt character, and you're also gonna have a significant bitterness. Pale ale sort of does that too. Double IPA, like every time you get bigger than like session IPA. The thing about session IPA I find is that it's just like it's noticeably different from IPA, pale ale, and this is obviously a little bit smaller than pale ale, or overlap, but it's a little bit smaller than pale ale. I think I noticed it's very light body. The big expressive hop flavor that's, it's expressed on the nose, but it shows on the palate. But then the lack of bitterness. It replaces bitterness with just watery character. And the beer is actually not bitter. Like, this is a 50 IBU 5% beer. Beer's about context. Also, the other thing is, interesting enough, this finishes at the same gravity that Fathead's Headhunter does. So I think it's like 2.7 Plato, which for you guys doing specific gravity, it's like 10. It's like 10, 11, something like that. Yeah, like 10, 11. Which is not that bone dry of a beer. So even though Headhunter tastes so dry, it has a lot of bitterness to it. This beer actually finishes the same finishing gravity as a beer that's 7.5%, which is crazy. So on the palate, follows with the nose, has a little bit of that kind of like grapey thing. Not really, a little bit of Jello. Like, I think of like those Jello cups, the Asian Jello cups you shoot into your mouth with like, random little fruits, lychee, pear, whatever they put in there. And then it has a big, long, like just like the nose, a long like herbal grassiness. Has a good little bit of this polyphenol kind of character, but it's different from hazy polyphenol. It has this like endive. You guys have ever endive? Like, it's bitter green. A little bit of that kind of like bitterness comes in. So leafy green, vegetal, lingering bitterness, which is actually quite nice. It makes a beer taste like fresh, like like chives and endive and scallion, right? Like that green, like leafy green thing. Arugula. Arugula is very bitter. Yeah, arugula. That's what it tastes like, right? So it makes the beer a little fresh. It's almost like a salad with like spicy, peppery, grassy arugula with like some fruits and other stuff thrown in there. Huh? Interesting, right? I will say it is quite expressive. Obviously, first off, the other shout out to Fatheads. This stuff is dumb fresh. Oh, no, never mind. I thought it was even dumber fresh. But when I received it, it's about a month ago. Less than a month ago, about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, when I received it from delivery, about 3 weeks fresh. Cool, sweet, that's insane. Okay, nice. That's stupid fresh. Yeah, I'm reviewing this about a month in, and I just received it. So yeah, I received about a month, 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, anyway, enough about freshness. Very fresh. What separates this beer? The beer has actually, as I talk more, a growing bitterness. It's actually very bitter for a session IPA. It has 50 IBUs, and you sort of taste it. It lingers, it lasts, has that grassiness to it. The hop aromatics are quite expressive, so a little bit more expressive aromatically than I'd say some of your, your all day or whatever. I mean, all day and slightly mighty are probably the most accessible ones on the market right now. But it does generally have that theme of like a light body, not too much malt to speak of. Very lean, and that has that like just wateriness to it, which is quite nice. It drinks very sessionable. Like, this beer almost drinks like a 4% beer, even though it's 4.9. It's pretty much a 5% beer, right? So it makes it really drinkable. Session. I'm gonna give this points. This might be one of the best session IPAs I've had. It's just you know what you guys would like. If you guys are from the Northeast, and I used to review beers from the Northeast. I'm from Super Session. If you guys remember Super Session from Lawson's Finest, he did a whole series, and one of them was Mosaic. This guy is in that realm. Very tasty stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to just crush a beer and not drink a 7.5% Headhunter, perfect. And still get a lot of hop flavor. Yeah, there you go. The honestly, the only issue with it partially is that like I would arguably like rather drink like half of a Headhunter, right? Like than like, because this still has a good amount of alcohol, still 5%. This is not a 2.5% beer where you're not gonna, you're gonna walk away sober. Like you're gonna feel it after 5%, right? Like, so for me, the full experience of getting the 7.5, like I would rather just drink half that and not really get buzzed and just enjoy it versus here where you drink a full beer and you don't get the full experience. So sort of my like hot take on like session IPA. It's very good. Let's go with the 90. Repeatability and usability is very good here. Just doesn't have an impression, obviously, of a world class IPA, but it's not supposed to be. It's a session IPA. 93. Sunshine Daydream. Fatheads, crushing it. Until next time. Cheers later. Well, how this? If you like session IPA, this is an A plus. Again, I said it. This is one of the best session IPAs I've ever had. But for me, 9.3. Later.